We're going fast paced with it. I'm going a hot cup of Joe here. We got the Laird Hamilton mushrooms in here, folks.
Yep.
We got stuff we got to do today. It's -6 out. It's
You're
negative.
good. Coffee buzzing now.
Got Andy's
Quick
popping
15-minute coffee
We
buzz
could-
before Tech Thursday.
Cheers, Hank. Yeah, this is more relaxed, if you will. Whew, we can breathe a little bit. But we can't breathe really because we got to have a fast. Actually, we're already pressing play, so we're already on the buzz, so we're fine.
We're fine.
We just
this
have
is part of the 15.
We just have a hard end time.
I got Tech Thursdays today. Tony Vaca, been a guest on the Coffee Buzz. He's running it. I don't want to be late for this one, but we got a job to do here, and that's provide people with answers to very anonymous questions.
100%. I was trying to hit there on the cold part. This is the warm mug because these are the Mayans. I'm trying to get to the Mayan culture.
So I really wish we would do a picture before we start. Of what mugs we do each time.
Yeah, for sure. We're on dead air right now, Steve.
We're taking a picture. I forgot we were on air.
Yeah,
I forgot we were on air.
All right, we got.
Andy's got a no drama cup. I got a South Pier Inn cup, a unique waterfront experience, and that it was. And Harv's rocking the Mayans.
The Mayans, man. So, all right. Well, we know we got a hard stop time. We're gonna go short, quick buzz, but we can calm down now.
And before we start, if I interrupt Mart, I know it's his show, but I got to be on time today.
Yeah, I got you. And I'm bad at the on-time stuff.
Yeah, he knows. I don't mean to be disrespectful. No.
I'm bad at the on-time stuff. Go ahead, Noel.
What is something you can never have enough of?
Chocolate ice cream.
I know. Okay, so here's the thing. I think we're close to 50 episodes. Is this the 50th? This is the 50th?
No.
Okay, so
52?
In 50 episodes of 5 questions, we'll say on average, that's a lot of questions, right? So I know that you've had to come up with a lot of questions, and I've said this many times, this question has been asked before.
I have the database. That's never been asked before.
He's got the database.
Because Steve said toilet paper to this question years ago.
Worded differently.
Yeah, that's his go.
I feel
default.
like I'm willing to make fun of myself on air, but I don't think to this one I would have said toilet paper because that just makes me sound like I got a problem.
It was
Or
like
that might have been Dave. That might have been Dave.
That sounds like a Dave answer.
That was a Dave answer. But I know toilet paper was one of the answers to this question.
That was if you could have an unlimited supply of something.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Steve
wow.
said.
So
That is totally different.
So it's what we're learning, it is different, but what we are learning is the back half of the 50. I mean, I don't know how many word changes are going to happen from 50 to 100.
We got him a book.
Yeah, I mean,
We got him
come
a
on.
book.
This guy's just
Can you ask it one more time? What do we got, about 30
changing
seconds?
words.
What is
What is
something?
something-
I like this speed round.
What is
Yeah.
something you can never have enough of?
Good times. I hate to be that guy, but I just believe in it
That's
in
a good
my
answer.
in my heart
Yeah.
of hearts.
Yeah, good times. I actually talked to my roommate Tom Buski has been gone for a little while, and today it was 7:30.
That must be nice.
It was great. And but at 7:30 this morning, we're overlooking the ice, and it should be water, but it's iced over it, and it's really cold, and we're watching the sun sort of rise together. And at the end, I go, all right, man, I got to get going. We're being dudes about it, but we missed each other. So we're being dudes about it. We're just having a cup of coffee while it's steaming. And I look at him, I go, any plans tonight? And he goes, was planning on dinner, like question mark type deal. And I went and I looked at him, I go, just, it's kind of ridiculous. It's kind of embarrassing now that I think about it. I went, just tell me what I owe. I'll be there. But yeah, so I think off of Steve's good times, I mean, if you're hanging out with our crew, anyone that's in our circle is all about the good times. I mean, hell, we started our career path for that. So I'd hope that was our answer. And mine inside of the good times is dinner. I just love having dinners with people. Dinner is such a fun thing to do.
Dinners and good times. Boom. Question 2.
Go
Speed
ahead.
round.
So what's an
I was
emotion?
gonna get mad at me.
What's an emotion? What's an emotion you've never felt before but want to?
This one right here, getting sped through my show.
Hey, I said I'm willing to go at 9 o'clock tonight. I said I'll go at 11 o'clock tonight. We
That's
can't
dinner.
make it
I have
happen. I'm
dinner.
willing
I
to
have
do it
dinner
now.
with Tom. I have dinner with Tom. I have dinner with Tom.
You
I'm
guys
not
will be out of work early, won't you?
Yeah, I didn't hear the back end of that question. Sorry, Noel.
What's an emotion you've never felt before but you want to?
Oh, so you want an emotion you've never felt, but you want to.
I know mine.
You go ahead then. Give me a second.
I always wanted to hoist a professional sports trophy, dude. I can't even imagine what those guys feel. It's like, boom, Super Bowl champ. I'm the best in the world at this. Look at me.
Yeah.
That'd be an unbelievable feeling.
Yeah, I think that's a good one because I think that we both thought at one point we were going to have that feeling.
I was certain of it.
Yeah, so was I. I think I was so confident about it that my parents even agreed that it might happen.
Not his pitching arm, Karen.
Yeah, so that would be an amazing feeling. I think that you can get that in other areas of life that I'm sure we felt or will feel. It would be similar to that in the feeling of your body, I suppose, or your mind. But that's got to be the coolest. That's got to be the coolest feeling. I was more so thinking about jamming out, like being a country singer. And being in front of 100,000 people and just really letting it rip. That's what would make me feel. That's got to be a feeling that's out of this world. You right? Don't get interrupted by the camera now. We're done with the question.
Okay,
Speed
so
rounds.
if you could plan
Speed rounds.
If you could,
I'm live coffee buzzing. I'm adding value.
if you could plan your own funeral, what would it look like?
Sold out. Next. Sorry.
Yeah, mine would be. I think mine would be the pig roast.
Yep.
Mine would be at the lake. Come on over. I'm sure people would forget that I was gone. They'd just start partying, and I'd just be a standard over on the side at that point, But I think what would be really cool is everyone went to the beach, lake beach, like a cabin woodsy type vibe beach, and there was just a big roast and some music playing, and you just have side-off conversations. Well, people have side-off conversations about you. I think that'd be sweet. And you're just kind of laughing, but then you probably have the opportunity to listen for the first time, and then you go, oh, what? That's what they thought of me. That would be intimidating, wouldn't it?
I'd go, I would want, that's really interesting because you have to tell people that you want that, Hey,
Yeah.
when I die, I'm dead serious. Like, have a pig roast.
Yeah.
Like, you would have to explain to people.
For the question like this, like they have to do what you want.
Yeah.
So how would you plan it?
But I'm saying that would be really cool if he did that.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like, hey, pig roast me, put up my very best pictures, and just have the good times.
So there was a – go ahead.
All
got a
I
cool
was going to
story.
say is I would like the same kind of vibe, and not to compare weddings to funerals, but I've always thought that weddings should be run completely different than they actually are.
I agree with that.
Yeah. It doesn't match me and March. We see eye to eye on that. It doesn't match our personalities at all. So I feel like that's what they'll end up being like. They'll be super fun, super big party.
Yeah.
But from a funeral standpoint, I know it's going to be sad, but I would love to have people go up and speak and tell stories like predetermined, like they knew. Like, hey, if you're coming to the funeral, like, here's the thing. For 1 hour, we're going to tell stories. Mm-hmm. And everyone's going to cry and laugh and do the whole thing. That would be the best send-off possible because you need stories to leave behind. Peanut Butter Falcon.
I agree. I think I could be entirely making this up off of something that I think I've heard, but I'm pretty confident I heard this in the last year or so. There was a guy who passed away, and he was a jokester type guy, and he put a recording in his casket. Is this real?
I think I've heard something.
Yeah. I remember hearing this.
Left messages.
And
before.
this guy during the thing, he had his buddy or whatever put it in there when he died, And then as it was happening or the ceremony or someone was speaking, the recording of him started going off.
Amazing.
And he was making fun of like the room and stuff.
Oh, like, hey, Mart.
Yeah.
I bet you got those dumb glasses on.
Yeah,
right now, or something like that.
Yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
that would be pretty funny to do too. That would be pretty funny to do.
Yeah, it would.
That would be really funny to do.
Okay. How long ago was the last nicest thing you did that still may be being reciprocated today?
Oh,
does that make sense?
That's a great question. I think
how you do a nice thing and like people
I'm gonna tee up Steve.
What's the oldest nice thing you've done that's still going today? Do you think to people?
That's a sweet question, Nolan.
It's a sweet question. Let me tee up Steve. You sound good?
Are you? Because I'm actually.
No,
stumped
you're
right
about
now.
to have an answer.
Oh, okay.
You're about to have an answer. So I think that. All right. So I've thought of this years ago when I first got into coaching. So Steve was the guy who got me into coaching. I always figured I'd sort of get into coaching, right? But then Steve was the guy Steve was actually the first guy in 2010. We used to talk about coaching. And I kind of figured, okay, I'll probably just coach with this guy at some point. And then when I got into it, I was kind of getting into it after Steve had gotten into coaching and whatnot. And as I was watching this, I started realizing that, you as a leader, sometimes you have to say things that people are just they're not going to like you, but you know that what you're saying to them is going to help them at some point, right? And this goes, sometimes you suck at saying things too, but what I realized I had to be okay with, and I want Steve to go on some things, but what I realized you had to be okay with as a leader is leading, knowing that you might have never known that you led, right? And so my tee up to you would be think of how many people who you didn't know you did something for them and you didn't think about it, and then years down the line, they'd bring up something that you might have even forgot about.
Yeah, I mean, that's been that. It's so hard to answer because what Harv's talking about is like the coolest thing that I experienced in my life.
Yeah.
And like a lot of the times I'll get phone calls. Like I had a phone call literally yesterday from a parent talking to me about something that I said inside of MASH that obviously I cared about it, but I didn't think that it carried the weight that it did to warrant a phone call. To be like, hey, like this was really good. Like this meant a lot, this and that. And like, I don't think we always understand our settings. And to your question, Nolan, I think that everyone on planet Earth has more of those than they think. I mean, we were on the podcast with Ashley Novak today, and she was talking about figuring stuff out and like moving forward and like you'll be okay and seeing the future self. And I remember Scott Lydon, I'm best man at his wedding, best friends in the world. And I was in college struggling on finals, really struggling. And I was at that time in my life, I didn't know if I was going to get drafted. Like I was just a mess.
Yep.
And he said to me on the phone, because I called him because I was freaking out. And he just said, hey, have you ever not figured it out? That's all he said. And I still remember it from when I was 22 years old. That's a actual dead serious quote. Hey, in your whole life, have you ever not figured it out? Now, you might not be perfect throughout the process, but have you ever not figured it out? And that stuck with me. So the tee up to me is not necessarily my answer, but I do want people to understand that the things you do and the things you say carry so much more weight than you could ever imagine to people who care about you. Mm-hmm. If you say that to somebody who doesn't care about you, no problem. They brush it off. They move on with their day. If you do say something to someone who cares about you, it could be minute to you and change everything for them. So be very conscious and careful of your words and your actions and reflect on how you speak to people, because it can set off a chain reaction that lasts for years and years and years, maybe people's entire lifetimes.
We're all robots.
Cheers.
Is that it?
Is that 4?
Yeah, that's 4. How many? We're on 50?
You want to do a quick one, a 2-minute one?
Well, that was 13 minutes. I was fine with it. I thought that was a cool drop in for me to say we're all robots. And then I didn't know if that meant end or not.
That's why I said cheers. I thought that was your thing.
And I'm a robot, so I'm programmed to think here for another 10 minutes. And this setting was ended 10 minutes early. See what I'm saying? So I was thinking coffee buzz. I'm habitually thinking 10 more minutes of thinking.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
But
the robot comment,
I'm going to push for the speed answers.
Yeah, I'm fine with the speed answers. I was saying more so the robot part of, because you hear that and then you could live like that if you hear something like that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like a robot.
Sure. Now I get it. I just thought you were doing the funny joke for Tony Robbins.
Oh, that was trippy too. But yeah, that's for a little bit, that's for something else in the coffee mug. A little bit of whiskey or something. But yeah, ask the quick ones.
I was going to say, when did you first know you were a good storyteller? When was the first time I got people's attention?
First time I knew, I used to tell stories in elementary school. I didn't know I was good. I enjoyed telling them though. And I used to ask for time in front of the class when I was in 4th grade. Mrs. Walsh was the first teacher to let me do it. And this was back in the day when I had some of those educational problems I was going through. But what got through some of that was I could tell stories. And so my 4th grade teacher was advised through the community to have me tell stories, and that would excite me. So I used to read. I really liked the Civil War back then. I used to read about the Civil War. Probably didn't read. Probably just made picture books and then told people what the Civil War was like.
100%.
You know, but I don't know if I did well or not. You know, I don't remember anyone in those classes, and I'm sure they don't remember this, but I used to tell stories in 4th grade in front of the class. That was when I first started realizing that was fun for me. 4th grade.
That's really cool. I would say mine's been a progression. I really came into my storytelling phase probably around age 24. So I think I was one of the boys, fun, but never a storyteller. And then I created and was a part of enough stories where I became one. I wasn't a natural. Mart obviously is a natural storyteller. It's something he loves to do. He could pick it up. Hey, tell me a story. He can make something up on the spot. My humor and wit comes from needing to experience things.
Yeah.
And then being able to apply that into a story.
I would say, too, that you were I forced myself into telling stories. I was going to tell a story, whether I like telling stories a lot of times for myself, where I think you get forced into it because you're going to be the big personality of the group, and people like stories. So I think as that kind of evolved as we gotten older, and you say that 24 on, you're just in a position where you're going to be the spokesperson, and so you probably learned how to tell stories because you were going to be the speaker. You know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking. Another speed one?
Nope, I gotta go. I can't do it.
What time is it?
No, I gotta be there.
I got 1 minute out of you.
I haven't even brushed
All right,
my
one
teeth
question,
yet.
real quick. One question.
If you could split it into percentages, how much you like your mom, how much are you like your dad?
Nope, not gonna answer it.
Cheers. Have a great weekend. Love you, Mom.
Love you, Mom.